Are search engines starting to die? Let's find out. The popularity of search engines has been stagnating at best, and decreasing at worst, as the younger generation are finding other ways to search for, and seek information. For instance, many younger folk will go to TikTok or Instagram instead of Google or Bing, to search for what it is they are looking for, but there are still a bunch of us that rely on search engines for a variety of reasons. But the decreasing quality of Google search is leading to an increased market for alternatives, and even then, alternative search engines don't always outperform Google or Bing, because they usually pull their sources from one of the major players, Google, Microsoft, or Yandex, with exceptions to the rule like Mojik, which does not get its results from one of the major search engines. Instead, it uses its own crawler to index sites, which could potentially give you better results, depending on what you're looking for. Why is Google search still dominant? Over 90% of the global population uses Google search to seek information and find resources online, but the remaining 10% is occupied by people who chose to use something else. Bing has around 10% market share on desktops, and then the remaining percent is DuckDuckGo, Ecosa, and other search engines, including Yandex and Baidu, but there seems to be an ever-decreasing quality problem that's affecting all of the major search engines, most notably Google. Google used to be better at doing verbatim searches, and if you don't know what a verbatim search is, it's basically a search that goes by the exact words or phrase in a query. Google used to be excellent at doing this in years past, but has since degraded to this useless piece of shit that's barely tolerable. I mean, if you're looking for a business, or just need basic stuff, Google is fine, but if you want to seek the truth, or you need very specific results, you would be better off looking elsewhere. For instance, Yandex offers an advanced image search filter, which can give you a much wider range of images. Google also features this, but it is nowhere near as advanced as the one that Yandex has. So why is everyone still using Google if its search quality is degrading, and it no longer gets them the exact thing they are looking for? The monopolistic market is what allows for empires like Google to thrive and be undefeatable. Essentially, if you tried to make your own search engine, you would not stand a chance against the competition. Just look at how many people use the already existing independent search engines. Not many people even know about these alternative search engines, which is really sad, because you're missing out on a whole other world. You're not seeing that the alternative can indeed be better than the big player, and honestly, I have been trying multiple different search engines to see which one I am happy with most, but for me, I tend to use multiple, all the time. It will usually consist of private search engines, and sometimes meta search engines. This is because I want a diverse range of search results for particular topics, such as tech stuff. I even use Yandex for some things, but I don't use Yandex very often, and I try to avoid using Google where possible. But there are just certain times where I have to go to Google because everything else is just shit. Either they cannot find a location or business, or they don't get me the results I want, so there are still times where Google can still come in handy, but the power of Google is long gone. We can no longer use it to actually find useful information. Wikipedia cannot be trusted for certain things. If you know anything about any wiki, it's that anyone can edit anything at any time, so the source could be faulty, or it could be coming from someone with no prior knowledge. So I would be very careful about trusting Wikipedia if it comes up as the first result, especially for political and controversial topics. This is where a search engine like Mojik might be better. Mojik is not biased and does not build a profile on you, therefore, you are more likely to find what you're looking for. Mojik will tend to prioritize good quality content over garbage, which is something I really like to see, but this will all depend on the specific query. Of course. Is Google search at a dead end? No, not yet. But the decreasing quality is becoming annoying and frustrating to some users, myself included, so we are trying to seek alternatives that can hopefully offer better results, and sadly, nothing beats Google. and nothing will ever become as popular as Google. Do you think that if and when the Chinese invent a search engine to compete with Google, that Western countries would let sleeping dogs lie? Absolutely fucking not. America and its allies would not let a Chinese competitor take any chance at competing with Google in the Western world, though it's possible a Chinese search engine could be very successful elsewhere in the world. But from what I have seen, the foreign search engines don't have much of a market outside of the originating countries, so Sogou and Baidu are not very popular outside of China, Yandex is not very popular outside of Russia, and so on and so forth. But it's possible that someone may indeed invent a better search engine than Google, but only time will tell. How can we improve Google search results? This is the biggest and hardest problem to overcome, because you cannot easily improve Google search results. In fact, Google changes your query behind the scenes to modify it ever so slightly so that the results are not in fact related to what you searched for. What a dirty little trick I bet nobody knew about before watching this video. How dare they modify your fucking searches and make it damn impossible to do verbatim searches? You can see why people like me are getting fed up with this corporate greedy ass bullshit. We are sick and tired of being used and abused by these companies, and it's about time we start fighting for our rights. Take back what's rightfully ours. We shall not let the evil bastards at Google ruin the search engine market. So my advice to you, if you want better search results, is simple. Go and use an alternative search engine, use it for 1 week, maybe even 2, and see how you like it, and whether or not the results are of the same quality, if not, better than Google. Trust me. You will thank me later on when you reduce the amount of data being sold to data brokers. Google sells your data to an immense amount of data brokers who make a living off of user data, so fuck those greedy bastards off out of our lives, and start doing something different. Think different, don't be evil, and don't become a sheep. Be your own person, think for yourself, do not conform to bullshit policies and rules that the so-called legitimate entities enforce upon us. They have no right to police their abusive powers upon us all. But apparently it is their right to do such barbaric acts, and the younger people are starting to see just how shady Google's business really is. No wonder we are seeking alternatives. If you really know what Google does with your data, you would have stopped using it long ago. And if quality results matter, there are a number of things you can try. Firstly, you could add a site like Reddit to the end of a query, though depending on what you're looking for, this may or may not be very useful. Secondly, you could go to social media sites like TikTok or Facebook to search for a business or person you want to get in touch with. No need to look for a business on Google as many of them have a Facebook or Instagram page. If not, they will usually have their own website of sorts, or they may be on other social media platforms. Thirdly, try a meta search engine to get more diverse and clean results. Metager offers a great combination of privacy with meta search power, so this may end up giving you better results. Finally, if you're serious about privacy and search results, you could build your own search engine, or host a free and open source project like EAC, or SEARX, both of which can be hosted locally, or in the cloud. This will ensure maximum privacy with the ability to modify your search results, and where they are coming from. Some search engines also let you choose which provider you want to go with. Take Disconnect Search for example. This will redirect your searches to the search engine of your choice, but it will not track or trace you, and information such as IP addresses will not be visible to Google if you use such things. While search engines may be beginning to see the end of their day, they still remain a crucial and critical way to access information at any place, anytime. And as bad as Google is, everyone still uses it for a reason. It simply is the best search engine and has the largest data set, therefore, it is the one that is the most likely to serve up the results you want. The problem with Google these days, however, is that, just Google it, and advanced search, don't really work like they used to. You can't just Google it anymore. I mean, if you want to ask something stupid like, what came first, the chicken or the egg, then there's something you can just Google it. But if we're talking about factual information, or reputable sources which don't have junk or spam content, then this becomes a bit of a problem. As I mentioned earlier, Google modifies your queries behind the scenes so that the query's words are slightly different from what you typed in. No wonder it's not possible to do verbatim searches with Google. I am so sick and tired of rubbish. I want something that is good, not some garbage trash heap that is useless and continues to get worse as the years go by. And no matter where you go, you have a monopoly problem, and the independents can only show you what already exists on the internet anyway, so you can go and Google it all you want. But I think the smart thing to do, if you want to get better results, is to use multiple search engines, and I really mean that. Use a combination of all the big players, as well as private search engines. I will give you a scenario as to where this will be very useful. Let's say you're looking for a movie online, but you don't want Google knowing that you're looking for a movie, because it could potentially get you into legal trouble with law enforcement. The solution is simple. Use a private search engine like Startpage, jump onto a VPN or proxy server, and use the anonymous view function Startpage provides to go to the movie site. This will make it near impossible for anyone to see what you're doing, but obviously, this scenario requires more security, whereas something as simple like searching for a business does not require that level of anonymity. So you can see how it really does come down to your specific queries to determine which search engine is best for you. I would recommend reading Search Engine Journal if you want to learn more about Google's degrading quality, and the alternative search engines. It provides very useful and interesting information. And if you want to know why Google is so bad now, jump onto Yandex and search, "Why does Google search suck now?" or something in similar vein, and you will actually be able to find reputable sites which report the reasons as to why Google is so shit. Yet if you look this exact same thing up on Google, you will get a bunch of shitty and useless results. If privacy is important to you, stop using Google search, and start using something else that's more private. If quality results matter, try a combination of search engines. Switching search engines is so effortless and easy, unlike switching to Linux, and you can add custom search engines in Chromium and Firefox-based web browsers. And if you want to try some great alternative search engines to Google, you should check out the ones I always recommend. These include Mojeek, DuckDuckGo, Startpage, Swisscows, Jibiru, and as a last resort, Microsoft Bing. Anyway, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. See you next video. Bye for now.